The world is watching closely as the Israel-Hamas war rages on. Human suffering continues. Concerns over spillover remain. Amidst the suffering, Hamas has released 2 more hostages. Could it be a sign of abatement? Will hostage release slow down Israel's expected ground offensive? That remains to be seen. But first, here's a look at the latest developments. Hamas released 2 more hostages, as I mentioned. 2 elderly Israeli women have been set free, which Hamas says was done on health grounds. The women are 79 and 85 years old, respectively. Earlier, an American mother and daughter duo were also released by Hamas. There are some 200 hostages that were held captive by the militant, are held captive by the militant group after the attack on the 7th of October. While there are some unconfirmed reports that mention that the group might be considering the release of more hostages with dual nationalities. Meanwhile, Israel continues to pound Gaza, and as per Israeli official statements, the country could soon carry out its expected ground offensive into Gaza. Israeli military says it's preparing for unrelenting attacks to dismantle Hamas. And as per the Israeli chief of staff, the country has no intention of curbing its strikes on Gaza. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, during a tour along the Gaza coastline, also said that Israel is preparing thoroughly for the next steps. That is expected to be a multilateral operation from the air, ground and sea. These strong statements come amid reports that there is pressure on Israel by its allies to delay the offensive. Reports indicate that the United States has urged Israel to delay the ground operation to allow time for the release of hostages and the shipment of aid to Gaza. US President Joe Biden has said any discussions about a Gaza ceasefire could only take place if Hamas frees all hostages it had taken from Israel.
We should have a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire, we should have a hostage release.
Biden also spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and reaffirmed his commitment to ongoing efforts to secure the release of all remaining hostages. He also urged the need for continuous flow of aid to Gaza. Biden also spoke with Pope Francis on Sunday and discussed the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, as per the White House, the United States had sent a few military advisors to Israel following the 7th of October Hamas attacks, and these officers have experience in quote-unquote the sorts of operations that Israel is conducting and may conduct in the future, and we're over there to share some perspectives. The humanitarian cost of this war also includes the impact on children. As per humanitarian organizations Save the Children, at least 2,000 children have been killed in Gaza over the past 17 days. 27 more have been killed in the West Bank. 27 children have been killed in Israel. This as per the Israeli media. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees also says 35% of its workers have been killed since the war broke out. The UN agency provides assistance and protection to Palestinian refugees in Jordan, Lebanon, Syria and the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. It says many of those killed were teachers in UNRWA schools. Meanwhile, Hamas leaders are calling on Arab and Muslim leaders to take a stand amid soaring death toll in Gaza. Hamas political bureau chief says the West's pro-Israel position is built a wall between Western countries and the Arab and Muslim populations that will never go away. The leader further warned that Israel will never be safe until Palestinians can enjoy safety, freedom and sovereignty. On the other hand, Israel says it has killed 5 commanders of a key Hamas military group in 17 days since the war broke out in the region. The IDF says each of the commanders was a member of the Hamas aerial array, which operates a variety of weapons against the state of Israel and played a significant role in the 7th of October attacks. In other updates, former US President Barack Obama has warned that some of Israel's actions in Gaza may backfire. Obama says that some of Israel's actions in its war against Hamas, like cutting off food and water for Gaza, could harden Palestinian attitudes for generations. It can also weaken international support for Israel. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.